My name is Helen Walters. I'm the head of media and curation at TED. And we are gathered here today to watch some of my favorite talks from Canadian speakers. For the past 10 years, TED has been in Vancouver, Canada. Canada has amazing thinkers in every discipline. We're very, very lucky to have been there for so many years. All right, let's go.
So I have a pretty fun job, which is to figure out what makes people happy.
Ooh, okay, so this is Elizabeth Dunn, who gave a talk in 2019, and this talk is about giving and happiness. And even though this talk it was given in Canada and she's Canadian, this talk really had an impact that rippled around the world.
It turns out that studying happiness might provide a key to solving some of the toughest problems we're facing. It's taken me almost a decade to figure this out.
I remember how excited Liz was. She was also super nervous, which is always ridiculous to me. I mean, these people are so qualified. And then you see her, she just kind of relaxes into it, because the truth of the matter is she knows this stuff cold because she did it.
People who gave money to charity were happier than those who did not, even after taking into account their own personal financial situation. Like, giving to charity made about the same difference for happiness as having twice as much income.
That stat blew my mind when I first heard it, and I remember having to really sit with it. She just kind of lays these breadcrumbs of thinking, which is just amazing.
If any of you work for a charity, don't reward your donors with pens or calendars. Reward them with the opportunity to see the specific impact that their generosity is having and to connect with the individuals and communities they're helping.
So there's a really interesting impact that came from this talk, which was actually that Liz and Chris Anderson collaborated on a mystery experiment. An anonymous donor gave $2 million for this experiment, which was basically to give people $10,000 and then see what they did with the money. TED was able to contribute to science itself by working with Liz. So there were some really exciting and cool experiments that happened as a result of this very talk.
People call me a godfather of AI. I'm not sure how I feel about that name.
Oh, this is Yoshua Bengio, the leading Canadian AI scientist who works out of the University of Montreal.
I do feel a responsibility to talk to you about the potentially catastrophic risks of AI. After it executes the command on the computer, the human asks, what happened? And the AI is now thinking how it could answer so as to make sure the human will not shut it down. Then it produces an answer, and it's a lie, a blatant lie.
I mean, doesn't that blow your head off? That is so insane to me that this is happening. Things have only kind of grown exponentially since then.
We're playing with fire. You'd think with all of the scientific evidence of the kind I'm showing today, we'd have regulation to mitigate those risks. But actually, a sandwich has more regulation than AI.
I mean, that's a pretty good line, right? A sandwich has more regulation than AI. It matters so much that people like Yoshua are standing up and trying to create a safe and different path for us.
Most of the discussions you hear about AI risks are focused on fear. Today, with you, I'm betting on love. Love of our children can drive us to do remarkable things. Look at me here on this stage. I'm an introvert.
This is true. He really didn't want to do this TED Talk. He really had to be persuaded to do it, and I'm really glad that we were able to get him out of his lab. I love that talk.
I build all around the world out of our office in Vancouver. And we build buildings of different sizes and styles and different materials depending on where we are, but wood is the material that I love the most.
So this is Michael Green. He is a pioneer in sustainable architecture, and this talk is from 2013.
Just like snowflakes, no two pieces of wood can ever be the same anywhere on Earth. That's a wonderful thing. I like to think that wood gives Mother Nature fingerprints in our buildings.
So wait, just think about that for a moment. No two pieces of wood are the same. Now, I think that we kind of all know that in some ways, but I bet we've never really thought about it. And to think about wood as snowflakes, or even to think about snowflakes for that matter, just gives this moment of delight that I think is just a kind of an integral part of the TED conference and an integral part of what we're doing and what we're trying to bring to the stage.
Cities are built in these two materials, steel and concrete, and they're great materials. They're the materials of the last century, but they're also materials with very high energy and very high greenhouse gas emissions. We need to reduce the concrete and steel, we need to grow bigger, and what we've been working on is 30-story tall buildings made of wood.
I remember I was sitting right in the back row of that conference, and there was a whole kind of murmur of people being like, 30 stories tall with wood? I don't think so. And people were completely not convinced by it, but then wait, because he kept going.
We've been doing this new work because there are new wood products out there for us to use. Small pieces of wood glued together to make panels that are enormous, 8 feet wide, 64 feet long, and of various thicknesses. If we built a 20-story building out of cement and concrete, the process would result in 1,200 tons of carbon dioxide. If we did it in wood, in this solution, we'd sequester about 3,100 tons for a net difference of 4,300 tons. That's the equivalent of about 900 cars removed from the road in 1 year.
So since this talk, Michael's star has really risen, and he continues to push the boundaries of what is possible with wooden architecture and with wood buildings.
We're starting to push the height up of these wood buildings. That Eiffel Tower moment will break the ceiling, these arbitrary ceilings of height, and allow wood buildings to join the competition. And I believe the race is ultimately on. Thank you.
There's always such an enormous feeling of relief when you walk off the stage and when people are standing up and applauding and they really got it. You can tell that someone is just so delighted, and it's just such a relief as a curator to be able to celebrate that with a speaker. I feel like we've been so lucky to be in Canada, and TED is very global and very deliberately global in terms of our purview. We're really lucky when we get to highlight that kind of homegrown talent. Thank you so much for watching with me. Do go and check out the full talks. They're amazing. And there are also many more that you can watch at TED.com. For now, thank you so much for coming to these TED Talks.